guys, what's up? It's Joe, ready from Rady's Rides. We're here at Crown Genesis, and guess what? I have that one full-size sedan that still is bringing the fight to the greats like Mercedes Benz and Audi. It's this vehicle right here. This is it. This is a 2025 Genesis G90. This particular one is a 3.5T ESC. But before we get into this full-on luxury, full-size sedan, let's talk about what's going on here. So it's interesting because Genesis, remember when they started back in 2015 as their own brand, started off with just sedans. It was the G80. Then eventually they expanded, they brought the G90, and of course, the smallest of the three, which is gonna be the G70. Now, it's fascinating because Genesis, of course, has been putting a lot of work into their SUV lineup, expanding it. They got the GV80, the 70, the 60, which is full EV. Plus, they have EV versions of almost all their vehicles. Now, this vehicle behind me competes directly with the Mercedes Benz S-Class. And if you were listening to that really long name, this has an electric supercharger. So you got the twin turbocharged power in addition with an electric supercharger. But what I want to find out is the Genesis G90 the better luxury sedan to get for the money over an S-Class Mercedes-Benz or an Audi A8? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this one and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, the size of this thing. This is a full-size luxury sedan. Now at the front end of the business, you're gonna see that updated styling. So with their twin headlight setup, you have those multi-LED cubes in there. Obviously low beams, you see how many are illuminated. You put on high beams, all of them are illuminated. Really love this style of design because not only does it give it a unique look, but you're getting a lot of nice bright white light to use when the sun goes down. Speaking of white, you have that pearlescent metallic white painted all over the front fascia, a little bit of shiny chrome finish, and then some flat black grille area. But really the lighting is what makes this vehicle look not only so unique, but definitely very modern. Now, as we come across the front, I don't know of any other vehicle that has as large of a grille as this G90. So you have that massive Genesis dark chrome with the flat black lacing underneath, forward-facing camera, fully functional. Even though this grille is pretty much almost the whole front end, to me, Genesis has incorporated the big grille design so well. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. I like the dark chrome finish all the way around the perimeter. And then along the bottom, you have that flat black, which is functional, and a little bit of the bright, shiny stuff. But let me know your thoughts about the face of this G90 compared to the S-Class. Now, as we rise up, nice clean gap between the grille and the hood. You have that Genesis badge really coming into its own, and very clean body lines. I mean, they basically folded, almost like you fold a fresh piece of paper. That's it. Kind of V's off into the A-pillars, that long nose on the sedan. Now, as we come around the bend, what do we got? Wheel and tire setup. So on this particular one, you are getting the 21-inch wheels. I like the way they're this gunmetal metallic gray finish with the machined aluminum. You have your center cover that covers up all those ugly looking lug nuts. And then check out the almost like milk chocolate brown on our 6-piston Brembo calipers. This has adaptive air ride suspension, rear wheel steer, and all-wheel drive. So they're definitely bringing not only the suspension technology, but also the handling technology as well. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this tire? You're looking at, like I said, 21-inch wheel, tires up front are 245 on the width, 40 series sidewall, and just like the S-Class, this is rear-wheel drive base. So power gets sent to the rear wheels, then the power gets sent to the front wheels. Super clean, elegant design, especially when it comes into how the top of the hood is also the fender. I really like that style. You'll notice in the corner here, here's your functional air curtain where it exits out. And then down the side of the vehicle, you are going to get those customary dual LED side marker lights. When you put on your turn signals, these also do flash. Power folding mirrors, I have it in the lock position. 360-degree cameras from the side of this vehicle. You can see this is full size. There's no sedan larger than this one from Genesis. Up top, you're going to get that full panoramic glass roof, and I'm so happy to report that they paint the back and the front of the roof so it blends all in. Bright shiny metalwork top and bottom, and then of course you have your flush door handles, flush mounted door handles, soft closing doors, and they are the power opening and power closing doors that you would find on something like a Rolls-Royce Spectre or a Cullinan on this Genesis. Down below, everything painted with that shiny bright metalwork along the bottom. Coming towards the rear, look at how large the rear door is. That's really going to help with getting in and out of the vehicle. 21-inch wheels out back. On the rear, you have 275 width on the tires. They don't give you Brembos though on the rear, so that is a zonk, but they do paint them that Tootsie Roll brown with the Genesis name on it. Spinning around back, one of my favorite parts of the design is that fender that comes off of the rear passenger door, how it flares out, that nice crisp fold, good body lines into our split level lighting, all LED, of course. Smooth as silk as that air comes off the rear glass. A little bit of kick up in the rear trunk area. No spoiler or anything like that. You have the Genesis name spelled out. There's our all-wheel drive badge. And then of course, dropping us down to ground level, you do have your dual outlet functional exhaust. The only zonk I have is on the bottom here, this fake vent area. But from stem to stern, looking pretty good. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about performance. All right guys, we got that massive hood open. Underneath the hood, I like the way they're doing the badging. Just something similar to what you would find on a Rolls-Royce. That V6 3.5 liter twin turbo with the electric supercharger. What do we have power-wise? So you're looking at 409 horsepower, 405 pound-feet of torque. It's bolted to an 8-speed automatic, 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. Top speed is governed to 132 miles per hour. MPG 17 in the city, 24 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs 5,156 pounds. So obviously when comparing this to an S-Class, you need to be careful because this doesn't have that option to put V8 power underneath the hood, unfortunately. But remember, when we're looking at price point and what you're getting, this really undercuts the whole S-Class lineup. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this engine and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, lifestyles of the rich and famous without being $300,000. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, I used to love Robin Leach. I used to have those champagne wishes and caviar dreams. I used to dream about it. I don't think I want to spend $200,000 or $300,000 on a car, but I definitely want that luxury. How much is this Genesis G90? So this particular one, the way it's optioned, has an MSRP of $102,000. Not inexpensive, but like I said, go shop some Mercedes Benz S-Classes and then it'll make your eyes pop out of your head, the price difference. But let's see what you get when you go Genesis G90 to the door panels. Love the materials. You have that Tootsie Roll brown leather with the contrast stitching. That's forged carbon fiber with that elegant, very intricate detail work that they put in there. You have the Bowers & Wilkins sound system with the aluminum speaker grill cover. Then you're gonna have the switchgear there for the for the massage seats. And then look at the armrest, nice soft touch. I like the silver around the controls for your windows and your door locks. And then that button right there in the center automatically opens and closes your door. You don't even need to pull or push it. Door pocket is large enough you could go to Panera and get yourself your expensive sandwich and salad and put it in there. And then there's that larger Bang & Olufsen speaker grill on the bottom. Now going from the door panel to the dash, like I said, the materials, the stitching, the carbon fiber, the ambient lighting. This is forged carbon fiber in a luxury sedan. Even on the sides here, everything very nicely done. Slide on in, you're gonna get that 12.3-inch infotainment system. I kind of like the way it's separated from the gauge cluster. You have all your usual Genesis apps and icons that you can go through. Going to our 3D setup. There she is in all her glory. There's the G90 that we're sitting in. Just cool to have that kind of technology special touch. Let me throw it into reverse. Backup camera, clear as day. 360. You got every different angle that you could possibly think of. I mean, if they had this kind of camera technology when they landed on the moon, they would have been able to live up there forever. And then you're right back to where the map is. Working your way down, you have ambient lighting in there, our start-stop button, our audio controls, dual climate with real toggle switches. You have your fragrance. I think Steven just farted in here, so I'm gonna have to get some more fragrance and turn that on. 2 stages of heated seats, and then you have your dual climate control with dual blower fans. That's a nice touch. More of that nice material. I don't know if Steven could show that there's ambient lighting. See the purple ambient lighting? Open up this door. There's your 2 cup holders. Closes nicely. This is gonna control your 8-speed automatic. If you don't want to touch the screen, you could use this direct drive control knob, real volume knob, tuning. And then here's where you have your ventilated seats, heated seats, your drive modes, which I'll show you that when you come to the business side. And these are the buttons to close the doors. So if you drop the kids off at school, they don't close their door, you can close it for them. Put your phone in there for wireless charging. Bombs away. Nice felt lining. This is where you can put 2 Rolexes. You got 2 USB-Cs and a 12-volt, and then you have this Napa leather. Look at the quality, the headrest, the piping, the stitching, full electric assist for the passenger, the driver, and like I said, both seats are massage seats. Alcantara everywhere over the headliner, the A-pillars, and then you got this split level set up for your panoramic sunroof. Very, very nice touch. This button is for the rear, and then this button is for the front. But why don't you come over here? Actually, I'm gonna close the door for you. I'll spoil you just like you spoil your kids. Why don't you come over here and I'll show you behind the business end in this G90. All right, guys, I'm sitting in the lap of luxury on the business end. You do have 3 memory seat settings, an aluminum sill plate, but the sad thing is it does not light up at night. I feel like they should put ambient lighting in there. There's your cornucopia of freaking seat controls. You can move this seat every different way from Sunday. I'm 6 feet tall. Feels fantastic in here. This is full size. Steering wheel, the leather. Look at the way they do the actual wheel with leather on the bottom portion here and a raised horn button with leather and the stitching. You do have some gloss black, but I'm sure you'll have your microfiber cloth that you can wipe that off. And then there's those paddles to go up and down the 8-speed automatic. And it is an electric tilting and telescoping wheel. And then of course you do have your digital gauge cluster with all the important information and readouts. Let's see if it has. Yes, blind spot cameras, gotta have that. Works so great in this vehicle. And then when you go into your different modes, the gauges change really nice. You can even do chauffeur. Look at that. That to me is really, really wild how they have all those touches and a head-up display. But why don't we go ahead? It's fun sitting up front. It's another thing to be chauffeured. Let's get back there and see where our driver is going to take us. All right, guys. Wow. This is the kind of back seat you want if you're going to make out with somebody in a car. I mean, you got lots of room back here to maneuver. Feels freaking fantastic. Alcantara everywhere. Even the leather on the little handles here. You got your Bang & Olufsen speaker up top, center speaker. You even have vanity mirrors for the back. So, you know, you can freshen up once you're done doing the deal. Speak of the deal, carbon fiber, the forged carbon fiber on the back. This is where you can keep your stacks of money, you know, hundreds, 50s. I know you don't go any lower than 20s. 12-volt USB-C and your rear AC vents. You do have, of course, heated seats, ventilated seats, and massage seats for this back seat area. You got the Alcantara pillow. Oh, wow. And then watch this. You ready for this? Here's where I have my power seat controls on the side. And then you have your full touchscreen capability here. So we turn it on, and then you're going to be able to go through all the different information with the audio controls, all of those goodies, all from the back seat. You also have your own wireless charging, 2 USB-Cs, and of course you got to have a place in the back seat to put your family jewels. Nobody wants to keep their jewels in their pocket. Put them here, they won't get all scratched up. But boy, oh boy, this is living large. And the fact that you have the heated seats, the ventilated seats, and the massage seats, and power shades for the side and the back. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the trunk, because I want to take you for a chauffeur drive in this G90. All right, guys, time to get in the trunk. Hit the hidden button in the bodywork of the trunk lid. Rises up, electric assist. You're going to be greeted to about 12 cubic feet of space. Not a whole bunch, but that's what you're working with these full-size luxury sedans. You do get your little box with your Genesis keepsakes in it. And, of course, you have on the driver's side a Genesis first aid kit. Comes with little Band-Aids with the Genesis badge on it. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go cruise Rodeo Drive in this G90 and see how it goes. All right, guys, we are behind the wheel of this 2025 G90 with the electric supercharger. We have rear wheel steer, which makes turning this thing a breeze. Of course, you got the 12.3-inch infotainment system, well within reach. The leather in here, the seats, everything is superb. The fact that you could bring up the massage seats very, very easily by touching the button on the door panel, and then it allows you to choose whatever type of massage you want. Just, you know, it's one of those things that nice to have that kind of layout in here. So simple. And the fact that everything that you need on the screen, if you don't want to touch the screen, you got plenty of buttons and menus to access stuff. Let's go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. Smooth shifts from the 8-speed. And then, of course, you have that instant torque from the electric supercharger. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into sport mode. That was normal. We're going to go sport mode here. Change the gauges and the graphics and everything. Really, really nice. You got the blind spot cameras. That's always a nice touch to have all of that. And then just really a vehicle that wraps you like a silk blanket. It's quiet in here, the sound deadening material, the whole way that this vehicle is set up is just, for the price, which it is $102,000, but like I said, for the price, you're getting a lot. And even some of the things like the automatic closing doors, you don't get that in an S-Class Mercedes vehicle. So there's even certain things that you don't get in the competition. But the acoustic side glass, everything's laminated. Blind spot cameras. You have that adaptive suspension. And I know the V8 is gone, but like I said, with the twin turbos and also the electric supercharger, this thing gets up and goes. Let's go on throttle again. You ready? On throttle, there we go. I'll tell you, she gets up and goes, especially for a large sedan like this vehicle is. Of course, you could shift with the paddles if you want to. Steering wheel is very, very comfy to grip onto. And even things like going over railroad crossings. It's rock solid in here, rock solid. Handling is very balanced. It doesn't roll all over the place. Got a nice head-up display. But really showing what the Genesis brand can do with this G90. It's quite phenomenal. And it's crazy because this road is ripped up, but you're really not feeling any of it, and you're not hearing any of it. It's incredible. And then in that backseat area, you're spoiling the heck out of your passengers. What a way to go in this thing. Yeah, you're getting some sound pumped in through the Bang & Olufsen sound system, but it's nothing too obnoxious. It's just enough little underlying tone there. But it's just so smooth. I'm getting a massage. And like I said, normally I'm not into the large grills, but this thing looks really good. You're definitely going to stand out from the luxury car crowd in this vehicle. That's for sure. Very easy to maneuver. For such a big sedan, it is very, very easy to maneuver. But I'm hoping that this has been a good, quick overall review of the G90. We're going to get back to Crown Genesis and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day here at Crown Genesis. Definitely got to thank Casey and the whole team getting us access to this bright white G90 3.5T with the electric supercharger. Let me know what you think. Saving all that money, is this the way to go? Or would you rather spend more to potentially get less just for the badge? Let me know your thoughts in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, think you're being part of the Raised Rides family. Got to give out to Stephen Flood, working the camera like a champ. And Stephen knows luxury because he sleeps in satin bed sheets that are very elegant. So thank you, Stephen, for sharing that with me. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.